for people that suffer from anxiety, what would be the thing? Like, so if you wanted to look for some sort of a genetic component to these people having anxiety, what would you look for?
I would first highly suspect methylfolate deficiency. Now, if their anxiety, if you sit down with them and they say, no, I haven't had it on and off throughout my lifetime. Okay, when do you get anxiety? Okay, I'm claustrophobic. Every time I step on a crowded elevator, I get anxiety. That's different.
Right.
Or I'm afraid of heights, and every time I walk to the edge of a 30th floor balcony and look over, I get massive anxiety.
Right.
That's different.
That's
what I'm talking
fairly
about,
normal.
That's fairly normal, right? These situational anxieties. But generalized anxiety, idiopathic anxiety,
Illogical anxiety.
you know, all these conditions that people are told they have, right? And then they're taught coping mechanisms. But I am by no means against therapy or counseling. I think those can be some of the most beneficial things that anybody does. There's signs of strength. But the majority of what we teach people to do with anxiety is cope with it. Here's how you deal with it. You breathe. You get you learn to get a therapist. You avoid certain situations. You modify your lifestyle. We rarely say, why don't we supplement for the breakdown of catecholamines, fight or flight neurotransmitters, which are associated in urinary excretions with anxiety. Why don't we supplement for the proper breakdown of catecholamines and just see what happens? And you watch people's anxiety eviscerate. Magnesium, calcium gluconate, hydroxycobalamin, this specific form of B12. When you take a complex of B vitamins, a certain form of B12, methylcobalamin, hydroxycobalamin, methylfolate, and you put it into these bodies and they start breaking down catecholamines for the first time and getting rid of them, they may for the first time in their adult lifetime be anxiety free and be like, what in the hell did I wait so long for?
Wow. So the complex of B vitamins, if someone's looking for a complex of B vitamins, like what specifically does it have to have in it?
Pyridoxine, riboflavin.
Spell that, pyridoxine? How do you spell that?
Pyrodixine, pyridoxine. And it's a form called pyridoxal 5-phosphate. But pyridoxine, riboflavin, thiamine, niacin, pantothenic acid. Now, if you look at a B complex, it should contain all of those things. By virtue of the fact that it's a B complex. If you go to a good vitamin manufacturer, you should see that their B complex is pyridoxine, riboflavin, thiamine, niacin, pantothenic acid, and then you'll see little certain forms of it. The one thing you want to avoid, like the plague, in the B12 category, and I get a lot of shit for this, but is a form of B12 called cyanocobalamin.
How do you spell that?
CYANOCOBALAMIN. Cyanocobalamin. Can we pull something up on here?
Sure.
Can you go to Google? Mm-hmm. Because before everybody climbs all over me and says basically it's a cyanide-based form of B12, right? It rarely occurs naturally in nature. It's the most bioavailable forms are called methylcobalamin, hydroxycobalamin, and adenosylcobalamin. But
what do we mean with that?
Are we going to be able to see it or no?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Just go to Google and put in cyanocobalamin, CYANO.
I already did.
Okay, cyanocobalamin, and then put a space and put the word PubChem. So I'm just going to take you to the National Library of Medicine. Just click on that first link. So I'm going to take you to the National Library of Medicine at the National Institute of Health. You can go here. We're on their public chemical site, and you can look up this form of B12. You see how it says cyanocobalamin B12? Can you scroll down to section 5.3? So if I want to see the component compounds, like what is this made out of? I can go right here to section 5.3, and I can look at its component compounds. Can you click on hydrogen cyanide? So this is a flammable, acute toxic, health hazard, environmental hazard. By the way, this is the most common form of B12 in the world. Right, we put this in Flintstone vitamins. We put it in all kinds of vitamins. The body can't even use this, so it has to be converted into hydroxycobalamin. It's astounding that we're allowed to do this, right? Because in the U.S. we use something called single-dose toxicity to determine whether or not something is dangerous for you, right? And people that say things like the dosage determines the poison, That is pathetically nonsensical because nobody gets mercury poisoning from a single, allowable dose of mercury. Nobody gets chemical poisoning from a single small dose of a chemical. But let's go down here. Go to view more at the bottom. So just read that sentence right there. See, hydrogen cyanide is a highly toxic. See that?
Yeah, highly toxic conjugate acid of cyanide that is used as chemical weapon agent. What?
Yeah, this is what
It's
we make our
characterized as
B12
a
from.
colorless gas or liquid. What? So if you're taking B12 supplements and they have that in it, you're getting this.
You're getting that.
And you're essentially taking poison.
Essentially, you're taking cyanide-based B12. The argument is it's not enough cyanide to cause harm, right? So, which I agree with. There's safe levels of mercury. There's safe levels of fluoride. Our water is full of fluoride. Our toothpaste is full of fluoride. But if you look at the fluoride studies in 3,600 municipalities around the United States, there's an inverse relationship between the concentration of fluoride and IQ.
Yeah.
As
low
fluoride
IQ.
goes up,
Yeah.
IQ goes down.
Yeah, we
Especially in
talked about that on the
prepubescent teens.
podcast recently. We're trying to figure it out. Like, what the fuck is fluoride doing in the water?
It's a neurotoxin, right? It actually, I think it was originally fluorohexene, which actually was a byproduct of fertilizer production. And they realized that when they kept the fluorohexene in the fertilizer, it killed the seed. So they pulled it out and they wondered, well, what the hell are we going to do with all this fluorohexene? Well, I guess we'll convince water municipalities to put it into the water because there's a marginal amount of evidence that it can create a nanoparticulate layer over the enamel and it could potentially prevent tooth decay.
But you
Shame
could just
on
brush your teeth.
Or you could just brush your teeth, right?
Yeah.
It's astounding.
The way I described
too.
it, I said it's like putting sunscreen in apples because some people get cancer. So you should just every apple should have sunscreen in it.
Right.
It's really that dumb.
It is that dumb. And when you look at it, it's like I was looking at the back of some of these. I did a post on this the other day. I was looking at the back of these toothpaste labels, and it literally says to call poison control if you swallow it. Fluoride toothpaste. It says if swallowed, contact poison control.
Oh my god!
But you get 4 times that dosage in 8-ounce glasses of water in a day if you drink tap water. And so, one of the things I tell people to permanently get out of their life, besides GMO foods, is tap water. Like today should be the day that you never drink tap water again, right?
Because I have a friend who